Good morning, my name is Lorena. I am a first grade teacher in the state of Mississippi, and in this week's video I'm going to share with you like my teacher work day. It's actually January 7th and we've had off. It's something that was scheduled into our calendar. Turn this off. So today's like our first day back, and then the kiddos come back on Monday the 10th. So we've had plenty of time to kind of relax and stuff. I'm excited to go back, a little bit nervous, you know, I want to sleep in and stuff, but whatever, it is what it is. The kiddos come back on Monday. So today we have like workshops and like some other trainings and stuff, and then I'm gonna stay a little bit after contractual hours and just like get things ready for Monday. I say I'm not coming in on Sunday, but we all know how that turns out. So yeah, so today I'm gonna take along with me as I plan, prep, and do all of the things for our return back to school. So here we go. But I did organize this closet. I do have a lot of supplies. I'm very like fortunate to have that. So what I started to do is I took out, you know, you have a lot of like these games and stuff that you like, okay, I'm gonna use it one time and then you don't. So I pulled out all of the ones that I am gonna use, I'm excited to use, like problem solving, and these, which is great for like what we're doing this week, even as like early finisher. The other thing I did was organize this little closet here. So I used one of these like dish drying racks from Dollar Tree, and I just put all my like the short construction paper here, the long ones here. These I have to sort because they're like the ones that have all the colors. But yeah, I pretty much organized all of that stuff. So first things first, I need to be able to function. So I'm gonna clean first before I do any curriculum stuff. So you're gonna see me going a little bit crazy now.
It's our way, Route 66, and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do. Yeah, no, nothing's complicated.
Alright, so we had a meeting that felt like forever. So just now I'm getting back to my room, and I'm gonna just like cut out the laminated stuff that I have. That way it's ready for Monday. And I'll share that with you. I'll share them like each individually once I'm done, but if you don't have one of these guys, this has been a saving grace when cutting and stuff like that. It's just, I feel like it's quicker. It might not be, but it feels like it, and I'm not like just like cutting the entire time. But I have a few things that I want to get done before I leave. I have a long list of things that I want to do before I leave. Laminate seating charts, change up the seating charts, change up my center groups, follow the work with like what I'm doing every day. I also have to do my flip chart. I have some copies I need to make, guided reading. It's just like, where does the time go? It's probably gonna be a late day at school right now. It's 3:16, and hopefully I'll be out of here by 5. I mean, I think they close the school at 5:30, so I don't have a choice but to be out with it. So let me get to it. I can't, there's like literally no time to be getting distracted today. I'll do as much as I can.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight
So I got a question in regards to like a comment that asked me how I plan. And the way that I plan is a little bit how I did kindergarten, which I follow the pacing guide, so I focus on the skills that I have to teach. But what I also do is I make it like a little bit thematic, so that helps me figure out what centers to use and stuff like that. I also use a Google Doc that I've shared before. That helps me kind of like plan everything out and link everything. And let me show you what it looks like. So essentially, it looks like this. It's nothing fancy, and all I do is I put the week of, and you can change it here, the day, and then I put like the unit, and I do the theme that we're doing. So because it's winter, I chose penguins. So all of my centers are penguin based, but they're focusing on the specific skill for first grade, like still CVC, word listening center, what did you learn, penguin I spy, so sight words. So everything is still related to the skills, but we're just focusing on a theme. And this also helps me plan out like any crafts and stuff that I want to do. So we do ready reading, and then we'll have a penguin craft, and I include the picture there, this way I don't forget. I do still need to print this out, and I'll show you. And that's what I keep doing. So for next week, So the week of January 17th, I'll be doing snow and snowman. I'm still working on that, but as you can see, like, we're gonna do a spin a snowman, winter sentence building, like, so then we're gonna do a get epic story, and it's gonna be about snowmen. The other good thing about this is that you can link it. So for example, I put here snowman word families, and I put the pages because I haven't printed it yet. So I'll click on it, and then it'll take me directly to where it is. That way I don't have to keep going back and forth or like trying to remember, oh, what was it that I picked. So that's how I plan. I pick a theme, and then I find the activities that go with whatever standard or skill we need to do. So for example, if we're learning about punctuation or whatever it might be, or if it's a review skill, I would try to find things that were like penguin, punctuation, center, stuff like that. And that's how I figure out exactly what to do. I will also link this below so that you can make a copy if in case you're interested in this. And kind of following along with what I do, and I'll make it live as well, this way you guys can see exactly what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, like as a view only, so you can like get stuff directly from there, if that makes any sense. So that is how I plan. Nothing crazy about it. Theme, skill, and then like supplemental things. That's what I do. So yeah, pretty much for this month I'm doing penguins, snow, snowmen, and then I'm gonna be doing, I think I put like in the winter, which includes like hibernation, winter animals, and just like winter in general as a season. Now in Mississippi, so there's not like a snow winter, but we're gonna, you know, expose the kids to what it could look like if they were somewhere that did experience like snow in the winter and really, really cold weathers and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be fun to teach this to them. And I picked penguins because I think there's number one, there's a lot of crafts, a lot of activities, lots of already made centers, and I think they're really going to enjoy it because it's not like an animal that you see all the time. So I'm also thinking of doing some sort of like virtual trip to like a zoo that has penguins, and if I find it, I'll let you know. I haven't looked into that yet, but it's something that I want to do maybe like as a fun Friday, as like a culminating activity kind of thing. So as soon as I find it, I'll make sure to share it with you guys. And yeah, that is how I plan. And I'll show you the centers that we're gonna do as soon as I'm able to kind of, I need to print some things off too, so let me do that. That's why I came to the computer and I totally forgot. So the good thing about doing it this way is, for example, right now, I realized that I didn't have the sheet for one of the centers, a recording sheet, and I'm like, okay, where did I find it? It's a TPT, that. But with this like center planning thing, since I have everything linked, it's this one, Penguin Store, which is like under my language. So I have like 6 centers. Sorry, I guess I have 6 centers, and then so I try to do a phonics, reading, sight words, language, or writing, and then like my teacher guided one. Alright, so we're in like our little weekly spot where I show you guys the centers that we're doing this week in 1st grade. So the first center is just like a noun, a parts of speech sort. So I have it up here in the pocket chart, and then the kiddos, they work here. So they're able to like not just have to sit in their seat the entire time. So they'll have nouns, verbs, and adjectives, and then I just put all of the little cards in here. The way that I've taught them to do it is they put like a little basket somewhere, and then each kiddo gets a card, and it's like a line. That way like they're not fighting over the cards just because there's one basket, so each kiddo will be able to have a card when it's their turn. So I feel like I've also never really shown you this. So this is what it looks like. So these are just baskets from Dollar Tree, and I'll put like all the materials that they need in this basket. So then they'll have their recording sheet, so they're going to write down the words based on whatever they put on the chart. So nouns, verbs, and adjectives, and they're going to choose a verb. So it tells them what to choose. Choose a verb and write a sentence. Turn the paper over and draw a picture to match your sentence. So this way they are actively working the entire time. The next center is my Get Epic Center. So I have assigned them a story, a nonfiction text story, and they're going to read it, and then what I have them do is tell me something that they learned, 1 or 2 things that they learned, and I have like the sentence starter there, this way they know what they're going to be doing. And then I have this sheet, so it's just penguins. They're going to draw a picture and then write 1 or 2 things that they learned from the story on here. And we've done this before, so they're familiar with like the style, so they'll write I learned that, or I learned that penguins can. And what I'm thinking of doing after this is probably doing a few more. So I learned, like for my lower kids, I learned that penguins can, penguins have, that way they have that with them. The next center that I found, and all of these centers, for the most part, I think they were free, but I'll link them below anyways. If it's like a paid product, then I'll link that below too. So we're still working on mastering certain skills, and punctuation is one of them. Figuring out what the sentence ends with is like a tricky concept for some of them. So what they're going to be doing, and I'm probably going to be putting these little cards in a censor even, is it's a sentence and it's missing the punctuation at the end. And again, we're following the whole penguin theme. So this one says, I'm so excited, and doesn't have a punctuation. So what they'll do is, as they find it, they'll record it on this sheet, and then they'll fill in at the end the missing punctuation. And I also added this here up on the top, so that they have some sort of like key to tell them what punctuation they should be using. The next center is this I Spy penguin that I found on TPT. I found this for free, which is amazing. So essentially what it is there are a whole bunch of tiny words inside the penguin and like in the background here, and as they find a word, using a magnifying glass, they'll record it here. And these are all laminated. This way they can use a dry erase marker and it'll be a quick wipe off. So once they're done finding all of the words, which I think won't take them too long, they're gonna have this recording sheet. And I did change the directions on this recording sheet, so they're gonna write sentences using the words that they have found. They're gonna identify the nouns, verbs, and adjectives in your sentence, and they can do so by coding the sentence, a skill that we've learned in first grade. They'll code the sentence, and then they're just gonna expect it to write 4. Of course, for my lower kiddos, the expectations will be a little bit different. As long as they can write 2 sentences, they've completed the task. The next center is a penguin write the room. So what I do with the write the room is I already have one of those little what are they called? Little like stick tacky hooks. I have them all up around the room already. That way I just kind of like slip it in there. And the ones that do not have a little tack where they're placed, I just put them in a basket in the middle, and I tell them if you can't find it around the room, that means it's in the middle of your table, so then they're gonna go ahead and write that. And essentially what you're doing for this is just writing CBC words. While most of my kids have grasped the whole concept of CBC, decoding and blending, it's still a good skill for them to review, especially coming back from a break, something simple and easy for them to do. The next center is my guided reading, which I have not gotten ready, so I will try to kind of show you what that looks like when I'm teaching it. I don't have it ready now. So now I'm going to move on to math centers. And again, they're also penguins. So this is a penguin place value. It has a recording sheet on here, and it has like a letter. That way they can put it in the corresponding place up over here. So just going to be counting the place value rods and then identifying which one it is. Either it's 51 or 31. And also what I do is I have an answer key for that. So the answer key is already included in the product itself. So what I'll do is I will leave it there, and we're going here on the trust system. This way they can check their answers in case I'm busy. They can see if they got it correct or not, and then they can fix their mistakes if there are any. The next center, I do have 2 centers, which is iReady and ST Math. So I don't really plan for those. So technically I only plan for 4 hands-on centers for math. The next one is penguin graphing. Now this is super simple for them. It might be too easy for most of them. They're going to be practicing the skill of collecting data and then graphing it on here. And as I'm rotating around the room, what I'm planning on doing, which I thought of after I laminate this, I'm just going to ask them, all right, so how many green hats and how many penguins with a coffee mug are there? And that way they're adding and they're collecting the data a little bit like more in depth. So I just laminated these, and I didn't use a hot laminator. I used like the school hot laminator, if that makes sense, not like the Scotch individual laminator. I feel like it's easier for the kiddos to wipe on and off from these. So that's the center. The next center is just penguin addition. So essentially what they're doing is same idea. They have a task, they have a recording sheet where they'll record their responses, and each of the task cards has a letter. So they're going to be adding the 2 10 frames and then identifying it here. I am going to be giving them some little like markers, that way they can place it on top of little like bingo dotter things. That way they know exactly what answer they picked and they don't get confused. And I did like this one because not only are they filling in the 10 frame, but they're also practicing writing the equation that represents what's on the 10 frame. So that's a good skill to practice. My last hands-on math center is this sled balancing sheet, and I believe these are all mostly from the same like Packer bundle. So they're going to be balancing the equations, and they're going to be writing the equations on here. So you have to cut these out. So each of them has like a corresponding little sled. Let me find one. All right, here we go. Perfect. When I first saw these, I thought these were great, but I could already foresee some challenges where there's too many cards and they're not able to find exactly what they need. So instead what I did was on the one that has the letter, I included the answer 11. This way they're not spending their whole time digging through cards to find the matching one. I can foresee that being a mess. So what they're going to do is they know that this is already 11 because I have written it for them. So they need to find the other part of the sled that balances that equation. So it'll look like this. No recording, and it'll be easy peasy. So that's it for my like hands-on literacy and math centers that we're doing this week. I've probably already put in a few clips of what it looks like once the kiddos are doing it. If not, I'm gonna add it here. But anyways, these are the centers that I'm doing for this week once the kiddos come back. I definitely do want to get a little bit more counters for some of these. I do have like penguin, like the little erasers and stuff from Target that I'm going to try to incorporate and have them use it. And I think I've explained this before, but something that I do that's big on Mondays is I model every single center for them. This helps so much with any questions. Of course, there's still like the normal first grade, you know, drama and issues, but for the most part, because I've modeled it thoroughly to them, showing them what I want to see and what I don't want to see, they do very, very, very well with centers. And I am switching up their center groups for this new quarter, so that should be exciting for them. They love being in new groups, and I love seeing the new groups because I'm like, based on the last quarter, I'm able to see what dynamics worked, which ones didn't, and then change that up. And hopefully that helps with like any behavior issues that might arise. All right, so that's it for centers. Now let me show you what other fun activities we're doing that are penguin based and that are based on our theme, and then like tying in like all the other curriculum stuff. So on the first day back, we're gonna be doing some New Year activities. So this is actually from my colleague, Rachel. She was like, hey, I have these things that I found on TPT, what don't you do with your kiddos? And I was like, yes. So that's what we're doing on Monday when the kiddos come back. And we're making a hat and we're doing some writing together. So let me show you what that looks like. So I have everything in these little like iris bins, and I just pull it out. I do want to make a label for them, but I haven't been able to do that. So we're going to be making these hats, and they'll color this for their morning work, and then we'll put this on a sentence strip. And then we found this online. It was free. It's like this, and then it just has this year I will, this year I want to learn, this year I hope, and then up here they're going to do a self-portrait of themselves, how they look in 2022. Next, so then we're also going to be doing a penguin craft, but on the bottom of the craft I'm going to make like a little flip book of things that we do. So right here we're going to do can, have, are, and then we're also going to do a circle map where they're going to describe penguins, and that'll tie in with the craft that we're going to do later on this week. We're also going to be doing a penguin life cycle. I'll try to link this below. I printed this off for kindergarten years ago, but this will be on the pocket chart whole group, and then they're going to go back to their seats and do this independently. So that's one of the things that we're doing for penguins. We'll also be doing like whole group penguin stuff, like circle maps and videos and stuff like that, and like where they live and art crafts, like I said before, but I'll share that with you as we progress through the week. I don't have that ready yet. But yeah, I also wanted to show you something else. I had a comment below that like said, that was asking how do I organize my centers once I'm done with them. I have two ways I organize them. One is a binder and another one is an iris bin, which I have at home, but let me show you what the binder looks like. And this is something that I'm like, why didn't I think of this sooner? So simple. So what I did was I got these binders from Target, and they're just like a 2-inch binder, a D-ring binder, and I just have it here. So I have the recording sheet and then the task cards in here. I have all that in there, the task cards, recording sheet, and these are the ones I did for December. This way it's like an easy find. I also have put some worksheets in there as well, same with the idea, and it's just like easy to go through, and as opposed to having like the iris bins all the time. So I've been doing, I did this for October, November, and December, and I'm gonna start my January one. I have to make like a little label here, and then these are great because they just kind of like stand up like so. And this is what I've been doing for organizing, but I'm gonna show you what I have. But I will also show you how I organize at home, how I used to organize in kindergarten. I just haven't bought those bins in yet. So I was able to dig in yesterday like my kindergarten winter stuff, and I found a whole bunch of things that we could use. So these are it, and what I do is I put it inside of this little like cabinet that I have here, which I've shown you before, and it's just like my future stuff. That way it's not like mixed up with the stuff that I have over there. Like I don't get like, okay, am I doing this week or next week? So I just keep it all away until I need it in these little like drawers, which are not labeled. I need to label them though, because sometimes I end up confusing myself. So like the binder thing helps decrease all of these Ziploc bags that I've accumulated over the years. But let me show you what I mean. So it's the same kind of like bins and stuff, and I just put some in there. These are like future things that I'm gonna do. This, I think some of these are for next week. But yeah, they're just these little bins, which I need to label like I don't know honestly how to label it. Maybe something like next week, upcoming, future. I don't know, something like that to keep myself and make it clear for me or anybody else who comes in. Oh, maybe what I need to do too is put one of these for like sub plans. Okay, so tomorrow for penguins, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a, what is this one called? Like a tree map, can have an R, and then I have 2 videos linked here all about penguins, and then just the funny one that we saw today again. And then I also made it bigger here. This way we can do it as a whole group, and then they can do it on their own at their desk. That one, along with the bubble map that we did today, is gonna go with their craft, and we'll be gonna hang that outside. And we're gonna be doing a directed drawing from Art Help for Kids to help them kind of make that outline for the penguin. But then they're going to be using construction paper, glue, and I might even bring in some, what is it called? Cotton balls. All right, and I also just made this. I'm going to add this onto the craft, if I were a penguin. And what I did was I just got the text. I used the KG fonts, and then I just typed in the word first, and I added some lines using like this little guy right here, and then the tab button. So we did that. That'll be like the culminating one. Like if I were a penguin, after like they've learned about what penguins do and all that stuff, they'll be able to relate to a penguin and then see what they would do if they were a penguin. So that should be fun to see what they have to say about what they would do if they were a penguin. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars, I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing to be treated. How did he want everybody to be treated? Alright, so it is end of day Friday and I am done. So pretty much I just put all of like my penguin stuff in this binder. This is what it looks like. So like all of the activities that we did for the week are in here. And I just finished making some copies for my snow centers next week. They are getting laminated, so that should be ready. And yeah, that is about it for this week of penguins. We did also some Martin Luther King things, as you saw, and I'll link the videos below in case you didn't get a chance to do it today, Friday. You can definitely try to do it on Monday or Tuesday if you have school. So that is it for this week's video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye! I'm back home. Today was the first day back from break, and well, it was the first day back from break. We kept it really simple. I did introduce centers and stuff as you guys saw, but it was pretty simple, nothing too crazy. We did some New Year's crafts, like a little crown thing, but yeah, now I'm home. I stayed until like 3:15, which is pretty good because I just didn't have like the capacity, the stamina in me to just stay and get things done. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I will if I want to work from home. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go in earlier tomorrow. And I just have a few things to do, nothing too crazy. So yeah, but what I did want to show you was how I organized my centers. I did show you how I have that binder where I kind of have started putting stuff in. I just started that this year, not even this year. I started this I think in November. But traditionally what I've done is I've always used those iris cups. But traditionally I've always used the iris bins that they sell at Michael's. I believe they're like $6. Sometimes they're like even, you can use a coupon or they're like at an even like more discounted price. But anyways, I'm going to show you what it looks like. I had this in my classroom before, like previous years obviously, and it's something that I've built towards. So I didn't start off with this. I was still like figuring out what kind of organization I was still trying to figure out what kind of organization I wanted, and this is what worked for me. And I did have the space in my old classroom. And this classroom, I don't have the space, or at least I haven't like made the space or asked like for furniture or shelving to make the space for it. So right now I'm keeping it in my apartment and using like one of our spare closets to store that stuff in. And also because we're in the military, well, because my husband's in the military, there's like a lot of unknowns. So I figured let me keep this there for the year, see what happens at the end of this year. And I didn't want to have to lug it all to my new room and bring it back. And also like all of the stuff that I do have is kindergarten, and it's like the kiddos that I have this year, this is way too easy for them. So it's not even like gonna implement that over there. But the organization piece, I do want to eventually, the organization piece of it, I do eventually want to like bring over there. But let me just stop yapping and let me show you what it is. Let me just show you. All right, so this is like the mess that I have in here. So these are the iris bins, and I started off like labeling them like through the years as the boxes kind of got filled, and I just have pretty much everything like letter sounds, numbers, oceans, because I did do a lot of like thematic teaching, and I still do a little bit, but not really literacy, letter recognition, just like all of the things. And then they also have like these smaller ones, which I should probably swap, but that'll be another day's project, for like things that I don't have that much of, but I still have enough that like I want it to be organized. And I also found this like iris stacker thing online, and it makes it so much easier because you can just pull and go and like stack. Now these were expensive, and it's 2 of them. Sorry, don't mind the paper towels and stuff. But anyways, it's 2 of them stacked, and it's great because like I said, you can just pull. So now that I have the binders, things are definitely going to be a little bit different. So let me show you the last binder that I did, and then show you like the bin that I would have normally used for that to kind of compare. And okay, so let me show you what that's going to look like. Let me bring you here. So this is the binder, and this is the last one that I did. This was for November. So like I showed you before, it's pretty much like a 2-inch binder, and then I put the recording sheet and then like the little task cards, and it's just like back to back kind of thing. And normally I would have put it in the iris bin, but my iris bins were getting too full because I also have like other stuff in there, like manipulatives and like other little knickknacks that I use for like that theme. Like for example, I have these ears, I have like stickers, I have like things like this in here, so that doesn't make sense to put that in the binder. But yeah, that's why these things like don't fit. So let me show you what it looks like inside. It's a little bit messy, but it works. So let me show you. Okay, so this is like the inside of it, the mess that I have. And then these are like the words that I put. These are like some things that I use for bulletin boards. So it says like happy fall. Oops. Oh, these are like, again, some more thematic words. These are some of the centers that I did with kindergarten. Oh, and this is like my harvest. Here, let me show you. Harvest and Thanksgiving, and I just made these on PowerPoint and then printed them out and then just used double-sided tape. So it's just like a whole bunch of stuff that I've collected over the years. I've printed, laminated, like these are the stacking ones where they roll 2 dice, add them, and then, you know, they build up on that. What's this? This is something that I had in another video, which it was like a right there room, but like giant fall. Oh, like we used to put like feathers on here and their eyes, and they would count how many feathers they had. Just like a whole lot of stuff. And I've been putting it in Ziploc bags, but there are some things, like for example, things like this that I can put in a binder and doesn't take up space in here. Also things like this I can put in a binder. That way here I have space for things that are like this, like crafts and let's see, and things like with feathers. But yeah, pretty much this is what I use. These are the iris bins. So I will link it below in case you are interested in maybe starting like an organization thing in your classroom. Honestly, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted, but I am a person who cannot work like in chaos, and I need to have everything, like I need to know where everything is. I can't just have like bins with stuff in them. Like I like to have things sort of like, these are my arts and crafts, this is like my shelf for cleaning supplies. Like I need that in order to function well. So that's why I started on this. I did used to have things in like manila folders, but that didn't work for me. Also like filing cabinets didn't work for me just because of like the amount of things that I had and like the easiness of getting to it. And like I just like to see I also like things to be like visually appealing, like aesthetically pleasing. So while I did splurge on this, it was something that helps my sanity and it was just something that I needed to do. So if you are on like the journey to kind of organize your classroom, your life, I would say do it, just because I think it makes things a lot easier in the long run. And well, I don't know if I'm gonna be a teacher. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be a teacher for like until I retire. I do know that's something that I'm gonna be doing for like at least, I don't know, the next few years. Oh, my dog is like moving on the mattress thing. That's what it's my. So I definitely wanted to create some sort of organizational system to get through it all. And this is great because I know exactly where to look when I'm looking for something. I don't have to be like, oh, did I put it in this folder, in that folder, or like did I put it in that bin? No, all my center stuff, like all my curriculum stuff, I have it either in the binder or in these iris bins. So yeah, that's my little trick. Not my trick, because I'm sure there are thousands who do the same thing or even things that are better. But this is what I have done and what has worked for me.
And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm